Everybody. Welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to do my bag of words, but before we begin, I want to mention that tonight I'll be going live on Zoom. We're going to be doing, having a gathering on the topic of anxiety. And it's going to be at 7 p.m. from Standard Eastern Time. And we're going to delve into anxiety, do some exercises, and learn and grow with all of that. All right, if you're interested in being a part of it, you can register on my website, and all the information is down in the description below. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go into my bag of words and see what I'm inspired to share. All right, let's see. Okay, anger. All right, anger. Enjoy. All right, gonna enjoy some anger? Let's see, okay. Empower. Love that. Okay. So anger. What an interesting emotion. All right. So anger is an emotion, right? That's really intense. And a lot of times we don't even want to be a part of it, right? Because it makes us feel so yucky. But it's a human emotion and it can teach us a lot. And it's actually really, I think, designed to do that, even though sometimes it consumes us. And when that happens, we then let our ego run wild. It's like we just unleash it. But if we learn to look at our anger, from a different perspective, it can actually be beneficial to us because it can teach us a lot. Underneath anger is usually sadness and a lot of other emotions that are needing to be addressed. They need to be moved. They need to be delved into. And that will lead to, right, the anger now, almost like transmuting, because once we understand, right, what's causing that anger, then we can do something about it and do different exercises or approach things differently, as opposed to just feeling that anger, getting consumed by it, and then exploding because of it, right? When we notice that we feel anger, if we give ourselves too much permission, we're going to lose our way. And if we don't give ourselves enough permission to have it, then we can lose our way as well. In other words, right, too much permission is like, I'm wrong, I'm not wrong, I'm right, and it just is what it is, and you just have to deal with it. And that, right, is going to lead to a lot of conflict. Or if we feel ashamed about having it, or judge ourselves for having it and feel like bad people because we have it, then we're also doing ourselves a disservice, because the reality is that it's a human emotion, and having it isn't necessarily feeling it, right? And having it isn't really a bad thing, but we want to understand it so that it doesn't become a negative, toxic thing that ruins our life, or ruins our relationships, or stresses out our relationships and all of our dynamics. We want to be able to bring it in. So we want to understand what it's about and give ourselves, right, permission to have it and not judge ourselves for it. There was something else in my mind that I forgot about, but now that I'm looking back at the words, it's empower and enjoy, right? So, when we look at what's causing our anger, right, or what it could be connected to, when we're open to exploring it, then we do empower ourselves, because now we're able to have an emotion without it taking over us and, like creating havoc in our lives. Now we can have that emotion, recognize that we're having it, and do something about it, right? We can give ourselves some time to be with ourselves and balance ourselves out. In other words, like, we notice that we're feeling angry. Let's say, at the beginning of the journey, we still explode. Okay, then we recognize that in the middle of it, or at whatever point we realize, we make a U-turn. The more we start, right, to become conscious that or bringing it to our awareness that we want to learn more about it, and we want to start making a shift from it, then we're going to find ourselves over time shifting the way it expresses in ourselves, right? So for example, right, first, you set your intention that you want to start reducing it, but you're still in the beginning stages of the work. So you may still find yourself going there, and you want to give yourself permission for that. In other words, you want to make space for your humanness, and then make a U-turn as soon as you can, and work on some strategies, right, that will help you gain the insight that allows you to understand where it's coming from so that you can meet that need and not find yourself being so triggered and having to, let's say, explode. The other thing we can do, right, is that, so that, now I was going to say the other thing we can do, but it's really more, right, the next time that, we're feeling the anger, we might notice that we're feeling it, but now we can pull back and say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I'll get back to you, and I'm going to, pull back and do, an exercise that calms me down. And then you go back and you deal with it. So again, there's a progressive state, but each step empowers us. Each step brings us away from an old pattern that isn't working for us. And we start shifting, right, the anger. We start using it, we start learning from it, and we start learning how to manage it so that it doesn't take over and, disrupt all of our lives. And then we can start enjoying our relationships more, because when we're not getting so triggered and exploding on people, we are able to enjoy the relationship more. Our expectations shift, and it creates a whole different experience for us. That doesn't mean that we'll never feel angry and that we should never feel angry, but it means that the anger isn't leading the way, right? That we're leading the way, that we've made decisions, we've learned, we've grown, and now we're making different choices for ourselves. That's the empowerment. It's not that, we can never have it again just because we're learning from it. It just stops controlling us. It doesn't really need to express itself as much, because we're understanding where it's coming from. We've taken out the time to get to know ourselves, and then we're regulating ourselves. We're pulling back, right? We're doing exercises that help us come back to our center and not have that need to just blow up on somebody and so forth. Because of course, right, that leads to a lot of, disruption. In other words, we want to be able to manage that emotion and not let that emotion, carry us away. And I'm getting this image in my mind of it's like where there's like a volcano, and I'll tell me that just wants to explode. And our job is to allow that to happen in a safe environment as opposed to on people. In other words, right, when you're working on acknowledging that emotion, you can release that in a safe space and it'd be okay, as opposed to doing that with other people and then bumping heads or creating yucky dynamics or explosive situations, or some sort of damage to your relationship, which then decreases your joy and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's what's coming to mind, because we want to create a life that we enjoy, and we can enjoy it if we don't empower ourselves and if we don't have that awareness and that ability, to ground ourselves, to shift from that heavy, intense emotion. It's not going to work for us. We're not going to have what we want. So we want to definitely take some time to understand that anger and learn from it and not judge it. It's a human emotion, and we want to be able to embrace all emotions with love and awareness. So I'm going to end with that. I hope that this video has helped you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you're free tonight and want to join me, like I said, all the information to tonight's topic, which is anxiety, is on the description down below. And that website, by the way, is www.bfreenow.llc.com, and it's the letter B, not the word B. All right. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.